Hey, before we start the video on dismantling the HO shelf layout, I wanted to take a second to thank all of my subscribers. We're now past 4,500 subscribers. So thank you, subscribers. Thank you, channel members. Thank you, viewers. I appreciate the support. And you can look forward to much more as I take you through the journey of moving the layout and getting it back up and running and continuing to build. And I look forward to sharing that with you. Enjoy the video. Well, here's an update on the teardown of the layout. So I started taking the fascia off of that valance and starting to unscrew it from the wall. So I think this piece here will come out as a section. And then the valance pretty much goes 14 feet all the way down there. So I think I might be able to do it as one piece and get it into a box truck. If not, I'll have to break that one in half somewhere, but let's keep going. Okay, so far, so good. That's where the valance was, and that's where it is now. Now let's get this one off. Here's an upside to the new location because these are outside walls in the garage, so they're concrete block, which means I've got all these concrete anchors, which in the new location they'll be inside walls in the house, not in the garage. So I can just screw right into the studs, which will make things a hell of a lot easier actually. So I'm almost done there. I'm gonna pull this valance off of the brackets here, and then this backing plate will come off the wall. It comes to a point where you start to wonder, should I just tear it apart, throw it in the bin and start over? But you know what? I'm gonna push through it. We're gonna make it work. So that top valance is gone. I just gotta take the bracing down. Gives you a good view of how I actually did this. Shelf brackets. And then I've got a wood box that goes over each one. And then I pass the screw up in here, and that kind of secures it. And gravity does its thing. Stays pretty sturdy. So I got that top valance, the main piece off in one piece. I've got to reconnect all the LEDs or replace them, no big deal. And what I'm doing now is taking that back plate off the wall, and just a trick I'm using. It's in three pieces of plywood planks, and there's seams. There's one there and there's one here. So I'm just putting cross supports over that seam so that I can take this whole thing off in one piece. And that way I don't have to worry about realigning things. I can take it off all as one piece and then just level the whole thing on the new wall. And I can just take those cross beams off there. What this strip here is just Homosoap, but it's so that the foam, like a foam board that rests on top of the valance where the lights are. So this is just a ledge. And I've got some concrete screws that go through it, which I have to remove. So I may have to pull this off to get to those concrete screws. I did it over here. I had to pull it off, got the concrete screw out, but you know, you patch that, put compound over the screws and the holes and paint it white, and won't know any different. So we continue. So I can show you how I'm taking out these concrete anchors once I get that Homosoap strip out of the way. Doesn't take much. So you can see how these braces now hold these two pieces together, so I don't have to worry about losing my alignment. Yeah, looks like a disaster. But you know, doing a project like this, you just sort of have to have the fortitude to go for it. 100% confident we can get this thing back and better than the way it was. So let's keep going. Once I get those concrete anchors out of the way, I'm just putting these strips right back where they were, same holes. So everything's that way fitted together, and we know it's going to work in the new location. So I think I've got two more concrete anchors there, and then should come right off the wall. It's probably just stuck on there with paint a little bit. I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but it's important to measure if you're doing this kind of thing. It's not measure, but mark. So this is 2, and it goes with bracket number 2, because there's a little bit of variation I found with each one of these brackets and the bracket and this thing itself. So if you don't, you're gonna end up things not lining up the way they used to. So all of these that came off are numbered to correspond with the right brackets. All right, the whole valance is now off. I've left some screw holes in the wall for whoever buys the house. And there's the backing board there next to the valance. So now the fun begins to figure out how to get this whole assembly out of here. I think I'm gonna have to take the legs off. I mean, I could get it in the truck with the legs on, but the challenge with this back section here is the brake is here, so this part has legs. This part is bolted to the wall, so got to figure that one out. That's going to be probably the trickiest. So I'm taking a break from breaking apart the layout, and I'm doing the wiring. So where the split is going to be here, I just labeled all the wires so I know when I get to the new location what needs to go where. Highly recommend that. Some of it is obvious because if you have, for example, I've got a matched color set of wires here from the tortoise and then picks up on the other side, but still I label them. So I've got my power bus, the red and whites, I got those labeled. And the last one I have here is it's a landline that I use just to run low voltage wire from one end to the other. So just to show you what I do, just clip, boom, we're done. And when I get to the other location, I'll just use probably screw wire connectors on all these things, so that if I ever have to break it apart again, which I'm praying I don't, I can do that. So now it's free and clear. I just gotta pull everything through there, and yeah, it can come apart. Just got to take those bolts out of there, and we're good to go. All right, I've had enough for one day. I am going to get back to packing important things like furniture and house goods so that my wife doesn't kick me out. One thing I did decide to do, and I thought this was a clever way to do it, is I'm just gonna put two 2x4 legs at the very end of that shelf that's bolted to the wall. It's sturdy. I mean, as a structure, it's not going to sag. So if I just put 2 legs on that end, and then this corner already has legs, so when I split it from the rest of the layout, I can just take it out and stand it in the truck and just strap it so it doesn't tip over, rather than try to unbolt all the legs. And I'm just hoping that in the new location I can get through the hallway and sort of tip it up and get into the room with the legs on. If not, it's not a big deal. I can get the legs off, and the way to do that, the best way to do that when everything is kind of connected to it, is you just take that cross member out, and then the nice thing about Sievers is there's just one bolt that is holding each leg at the top. So if I take that cross member out, it just gives me a little wiggle room to move the legs out of the way. But we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted in the next video. So hopefully this has given you some ideas and some tips if you have to move your layout. Have a good week. Cheers.